So I just ran into a snag on a repair right here, and I've got two choices. I can abandon doing this video and I can just kind of walk back and fix the car and not do the video, or I can continue on knowing that all of my dialogue and my touting of my own experience and wisdom on the matter of automotive repair could all prove to be a fallacy just through what we're about to experience during this repair. So if I'm right, then I was right, but if I'm wrong, everything I just said in this video, with the exception of the being sorry, everything I said was completely false, and you guys should unsubscribe and not listen to a word I have to say because I was just blowing mechanic nonsense just right out of the face hole. So stay tuned, figure it out. Let's see if I was right or if I need to quit my job. Referrals. Referrals, referrals, referrals. Small businesses are built on referrals. They're not built off of Google ads. They're not built off of Facebook. It's all referrals. And I've got a referral vehicle here. Love it. This is a 2017 Toyota Tacoma TRD. Off-road package. She's equipped with the 3.5 liter V6 gasoline 2 GR FKS engine. Nobody cares about that except for the Toyota fanboys, but hey, no worries. Customer states, the door's locked. Customer states on this one that it's still locked. There, we'll manually unlock that unit. That there's like a grinding type of noise coming from the right front, like a hum noise, something of that nature. It becomes more profound when turning left, or the steering hesitates going left. So there's something going on with the suspension on this. We are at, on our odometer, beep, how many miles we have here? How about, I can't tell. Let's do 153,117 miles on the odometer. Now that's relevant to me because past our six-figure mark on our mileage here, then we can consider wear items. You know, if this thing had 30,000 miles on it and they were complaining of a grinding noise, I wouldn't think it'd be a wear item. I'd be looking for like an obstruction or something damaged or not installed properly. But up here past the 100,000 mark, we can consider all things because anything is possible when you're dealing with mechanical items. So let's go try to recreate the customer's concerns so we have an idea of what we're looking for, and then we'll bring him back in and check it out. So stay tuned. This is going to be a very good video. All right, pulling out right here. I don't like making rights out of here. I end up always in the other lane, especially with a larger vehicle. All right, right out of the get-go, got a tire pressure warning light on, and I hear like a high-pitched vibration, almost like a helicopter noise. Let's go a little faster. Hear exhaust. I feel a vibration. Okay, yeah, we've got something going on in the right front. Listen to this. I hope you guys can hear it. It changed pitch. When I changed direction of the steering wheel and we changed loading on the suspension, that noise changed. Let's go a little faster and try to hear it again. I hope the camera's audio can pick up on the noises. Usually you guys give me feedback in the comments that you were able to hear it. Hello, shop. All right, hear the noise? We're changing pavement, changing direction. The tone and the volume changes. We go left, one noise. We go right, no noise. And I feel vibe in the floor and in my seat. I believe that since the frequency of the vibration changes, and it appears to be directly correlated with vehicle speed, that means something that is rotating is causing the sound of the noise. So we've got wheels and tires, brakes, which is going to be your rotors. You've got bearings, which hold it all together. You've got drive shafts, those are also rotating. So it's one of those items that is rotating at a fixed speed, correlating with vehicle speed. It's not really fixed, but it correlates. So a vehicle goes slower, noise changes. Vehicle goes faster, noise changes. That's how I know it's something in the driveline. So we're gonna go back, we're gonna put this thing on the rack, we're gonna lift it up, inspect the underneath carriage, and figure out what component is worn, failed, or failing, causing the helicopter noise while driving. Now, I'm no mechanic or anything, but it appears to me that the wheel just fell off of that Jeep in the parking lot. You see right down there at the bottom of the left front tire, there's a control arm hanging out. I believe the wheel fell off. But you know, it's good that it fell off in a parking lot and not going down the interstate next to a minivan full of kids. Just saying. All right, let's nose this unit in. You guys, check that out. You see that thingy? We're gonna make a video about that thingy later on. That thingy is gonna go into the back of that thingy right there. That's part of my truck build. I didn't plan on that for the beginning, but it's an afterthought. Let me know if you guys want to see some content on the old Silverado. All right, we're in vehicle racking up position. Let's check wheels, balance good. I like it. Parking is the auto, and of course, power down the unit. Let's go ahead and rack it up and see what's going on. Okay, here. Taco. By the way, that's not racist. Taco, it says so right there. See that? Taco. So no, not racist. Sorry. Anyway, we've got the rack set up on the Taco here. Let's get her up in the air. Coming right out of the gate, I can tell you need some tires. See that right there? We're down to the wear bar. See this little bar right here? That little guy? You'll find these wear bars running across every single tire ever. Once the tread wears down to meet that bar, that's your 3/32 of an inch indicator. That is your legal limit on your tire. So if this is flush with the tread, your tire is no longer lawful for service on public motorways. Fun fact. That's the easiest way to inspect your tire. Take a look at those wear bars. Anyway, moving on up here. Let's take a look at the bottom. See the suspensions. If we can't find it visually, we'll have to get some things rotating. We'll have to listen to it. But we're gonna visually try to find the issue first. Let's get some illuminator here. There we go. That's leaking. It's leaking and it shouldn't be. It's not even a greased component. Odd. That's the sway bar link right there. And there's our ball joint, control arm, front differential. These are adjustable control arms. See that little cam on the bolt? There's a slot in the frame where this bolt can change direction. You take the back side of this thing loose and you rotate that bolt. This big washer thing is fixed to the bolt. Now you see those little tabs there on the frame? When you rotate this bolt, it's going to move the center of that bolt left or right because it is offset on that cam right there. Same thing on this side. So when you go to turn that, if you turn it like this way, it's going to move the bolt over here, push this part of the control arm outward, and it's going to pivot it forward, and that's how we change our camber and our caster angles. More on that on other videos. Anyway, let's see what's in here. Nada. I'm thinking we have a bearing noise. That's what I think. I don't hear it. Over here on this side. Don't really hear it. Sounded like a bearing noise. And I don't see anything out of place back here. Okay, so this is going to be a tough one. You're going to have to guess. This is a hypothesis diagnosis here. What I can do is put a stethoscope on this knuckle and turn the wheel and hope I can hear some crunchy noise out of the bearings. I may be able to hear it, I may not. Same thing on that side. If my stethoscope does not give me an indicator audibly on which side it is, I've got to guess. So we have to make a hypothesis based on what we experienced while we did the test drive. That's why I was doing all those swerving left and right businesses. I'm trying to listen for changes in the sound to help me pinpoint where it's coming from, which quadrant of the vehicle. So if we're sitting in the car divided into 4 corners, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We've got different quadrants. So the idea is to isolate the sound to a different quadrant. That way you sort of know what I'm looking for is going to be here, or here, or here, or here. I felt like I heard it most out of this corner here. Since we've determined it's something that's rotating, I assume we're in the bearing, because when we changed direction, the loading and unloading that took place was isolated to this bearing area right here. But that does not mean that it's not that bearing. It also does not mean that it's not both bearings, but I primarily heard one right out of this side here. So let's try to stethoscope it and see if I can get any more conclusive evidence to support my theory. Paging Dr. Ray, paging Dr. Ray. We've got our stethoscope audio enhancement device here. Now, you guys can't hear, but I can. And that's what matters right now, is that I can hear. So what I'll do, we're gonna put this guy like right there, okay? See that? Now I can't let the end of it move around because it makes this ungodly noise in my ears, because I got an amplifier in my Crane Branium. I'm gonna take the tire here and we're gonna spin the tire. Right? So I'm gonna take what I heard, which is subjective, put it over here on this side, spin the tire. Okay. Well, I gotta tell you, they both sound equally the same. Now, I'm not gonna be able to determine up in the air what's making the sound, because the sound seems to be occurring only while there's load on these bearings, which means it's gotta be on the ground. We can't drive the car and listen to the bearings with the stethoscope at the same time. So I'm going to revert back to what my opinion was in the car, that it's coming from the right front quadrant of the vehicle. I believe it to be a wheel bearing. So we have to hypothesize and basically guess with it's an educated guess. It's not just like, hey, it might be this or could be that, or hopefully it's this. I've educated, guessed, I've hypothesized that the most likely cause of the noise they're complaining about is this bearing over here. So I would move to replace one right front wheel bearing with the possibility that there's also noise on the left front bearing. We've had situations where it's clear cut, there's a bearing noise on one side. You replace the bearing, go out and drive it, next thing you know, you hear another bearing noise on the other side. And it's not because it wasn't there, it's because you heard that one more and you felt that one more, and this one was overlooked. That happens too. So you've always got to have the option to go, hey, we're halfway there. Now, what we cannot do is put a bearing in it, check it, and then find out that's not it, and then just swap it side to side. It doesn't work that way, because these bearings are pressed into the hubs. We have to remove these hubs, I believe, in order to get the bearing out of the hub. And so to swap side to side is just completely unrealistic. It would be cheaper to just put bearings in both sides. Now, this is one of the situations where you want to ask your customer about history on the vehicle. Do they park it in a carport? For example, is one side sheltered from the elements and the other side is not? That plays a factor, especially in Florida. We have snowbird vehicles here, so a lot of these vehicles will sit half of the year and they are parked in carports. So one side gets elemental exposure, the other side doesn't. That can help me kind of narrow down which side it is. We want to ask about collision history, and we want to look around for collision history as well. Perhaps we can find evidence of recent body repairs, and if there was an impact on one of the sides, then one could conclude that the bearing may have suffered during said impact. So we can start gathering circumstantial evidence. And you add all that up, that's when you come up with the best path to repair. So at this point on this one, I am going to suggest we replace the right front wheel bearing, test drive it, check it out, and then go see. That's what we're gonna do. I'm about 87.69% sure that it's that bearing over there. And I've got about a 3% reservation that there's an issue with this bearing over here, but we don't know for sure, so let's write it up for one bearing and we'll see what our customers want to do. Okay, so let's try to be a little efficient here, and let's go in a little bit deeper like. So I'm super duper very extra confident that this is my problem wheel, okay? And the only reason I can be that confident is I've got about 700 years of automotive technology experience, okay? So in my estimation, that's what it is. But trust me, bro, is not always gonna be your best sales tactic, okay? So let's try to find some more concrete evidence. Now, I have Lauren seeking out my part right now, and she's trying to source the component that I believe it is. And I'm pretty confident we're gonna go ahead and do the repair. So I feel that I can take this apart to get some more concrete information, okay? So what I plan on doing here is we're gonna remove this two-piece brake caliper. It's a 4-piston caliper. 2 pistons here, 2 pistons here, and then there's a fluid channel that runs between the two. If you're ever doing a brake job, don't take these 4 bolts, these 2 and these 2, out of the caliper. These are not the ones that hold this caliper on. If you take those out, you're gonna split the caliper and you're gonna ruin the seal. What we've got to do is take out that bolt and that one. But my plan is to remove the caliper, the bracket, hang this over here, pull the rotor off of it. Once we get all this rotating mass out of the way, I can turn this bearing without the stuff in the way, and maybe we can hear it a little bit better. Here, over on the back side here, pull this little bracket nut off. That's for our brake line. Now the reason, everything's a hammer, the reason I take this off is you see this hard line right here? If we try to unbolt the caliper and just yank it out of the way, we're gonna bend the daylights out of this hard line and potentially kink it, compromise the structural integrity, break it, cause it to leak, all those things. So it's best to just take out that one little bolt, and then you prevented the problem that you did not know you were about to create, all right? So turn that a little bit that way. I think I can squeeze a gun in there. Actually, let's get that 1/2-inch socket out. We'll do it 3/8. We can squeeze a gun in, but I don't think it's gonna clear this right here, and I don't wanna go in there and crank the wheel all the way. This thing's tight. Look at all that leverage. You still don't wanna break loose. No! There we go. I might need to get a gun. Somebody put Loctite on these. That's what they feel like. Yeah! Yeah. Neutral drop. This battery's dead. That's the problem. You know, I used to have a guy that worked here, and his job was to charge the batteries. Instead of charging them, he stole all the batteries. There we go. So now it's loose. We'll fetch our fasteners right there. Get rid of those. Then this whole bit of business, I'm gonna pull it out and hang it up. So let me find a hanger. These used to look so nice and presentable when they were on the tool truck. They're just flexy, bendy hook things. But once you bendy them a couple times, they lose their luster. See how I'm going to do this. I don't know. What method shall I employ here? How are we going to do this? I know. Big hook through there. Go that way, right? And then up on something else. I don't have space to hang this. Shice. I need to remove something. There's an ABS wire clipped to this bracket. Put that back on. ABS wire right here. I need to remove that guy. This will do it. Trim tool. Uh-oh. I gotta sneeze. Yeah. There we go. All right, so the little wire is disconnected, and I need to unbolt that thing as well. One more bolt. Sorry. Actually, sorry wasn't the right word. I don't really believe in I'm sorry, so I don't like those. I worked in a restaurant once upon a time, and I was the grill guy, so I got to yell at everybody all day long. And one thing I noticed is a lot of the wait staff, whenever they wanted something like, I don't know, some crackers, something extra, I need a doily, you know, anything, they would always start their request out with, oh, I'm sorry, or hey, I'm sorry, or real quick, I'm sorry. And one day there was this lady, super sweet lady, her name was Linda. She walks up, she's like, Ray, sorry. Now, when you're the cook, you're like, I don't care about your sorries, what do you want? Because we have seconds to lose here and your sorries are eating up my seconds. So get out of, you know, what do you want, lady, what do you want? Well, I had this conversation with her about, you know, the sorry thing, and I was saying to her, I said, don't open up your conversation with a sorry, because the person you're speaking to, they're instantly going to turn off and discredit what you're saying, because nobody likes someone who's sorry. If you're a sorry person, no one's going to pay attention to you. You're not going to get respect. So I said to all the people that had that habit that I ran across, don't feel that you need to apologize because you need something, and don't ever open your conversation with I'm sorry. I could be crass and tell you you're wasting my time, which, yeah, you are, but more importantly, the psychological damage that it does to you, the person who's speaking these I'm sorries, is irreputable. It's messing you up. It's changing your outlook on the world, and it's prohibiting you from achievements because the people you're interacting with are viewing you in a way equal to how you're viewing yourself. Kind of like your car. I can't take care of your car better than you do. Well, I mean, I could, but if you bring me a car and it's covered in trash inside, and I get we all have stuff in our car, right? But if you've got trash cereal on the floor and baby diapers and all this nonsense, and then you come in here and have us fix something, me, anybody, it could be a tire store, dealership, any service person anywhere, you call for services, have it fixed, and then this actually happens, then complain about the quality of whatever it was. You know, I don't like this, or ever since you, or then this happened. You can't expect someone to take care of your car better than you do. What I'm saying is humans are psychological creatures. We're actual people with emotions. And if you bring a guy a rolling pile and then expect me to treat it like someone, not me, but I say me as a representative, you expect me to treat it like a Rolls Royce, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and it's not going to happen. So ending the little rant thing, just take care of it, and don't expect someone to take care of it better than you do, because they won't. It'll never happen. It was super frustrating during my W2 days, is because people would bring things that were not taken care of, and they would expect you to turn it into something that it just wasn't and couldn't be, because fundamentally it's become something else. You've destroyed it through attrition. I'll just be crass and say, because you destroyed it. So you destroy it and you expect me to make it perfect off of the oil change coupon. It's not gonna happen. There's a certain reality to live inside. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to doing a good job, and I will end my rant on sorries and taking care of your stuff. Let's try to find more evidence that this thing is making noise. It's rusted. Wow! Seriously? Okay, that doesn't want to come off. This one's for Derek. Yar! There you go. Just hit it harder. Okay, I was wrong about something, and this is not a press bearing. This is a bolt-on hub bearing. They just bolt on from the front. How am I supposed to get the bolts off? Well, I was wrong on two fronts, because I can't feel or hear any grinding out of this one either. Yeah, whatever. Let's keep taking it apart. We can't maintain a fact-finding mission if we stop seeking facts, can we? I'm gonna hammer this pry bar screwdriver in here under this dust cap. Maybe not. More hammer. I'll rephrase. How about more precise hammer? So we'll do less chisel and less hammer for more accuracy. Let's try that. Going back to a screwdriver. screwdriver and then the small hammer. I need to get behind it. Yeah, we'll work that lip out some. This will come out. Under here is what's going to contain the nut for the axle. There, now we're behind it. See that? We're getting somewhere. Get in there. Tink. There we go. Keep walking this around, it'll come out. This one's in there. They usually come out a little bit more ease than this. This one's, yeah, broke screwdriver. I knew better than that. Good thing it's snap-on lifetime-ish warranty. Ding! Well, that's nice and shiny. That's our axle, and of course the nut, cotter key / cotter pin, and then our castle retainer right there. Pliers. Laura, what were you saying there, dear?
That red truck that you put the fuel tank in.
Yes, ma'am.
How's that going?
I have finished the fuel tank. It runs, it drives, it's scary. The brakes are ineffective, and it vibrates like the wheels are made out of squares. That's how it sat for so long. It's got flat spots in the tires. The steering is all over the road. I need to rack it back up and then finish the inspecting on it. Remember, we told them first thing we're going to do is get the car running so it moves. Then after we can run the vehicle, we can drive it and evaluate it and then inspect it. But first things first is get it running, which we did do that.
Perfect.
So that's where we are. I shall not be rushed because right now I'm working on a taco.
Okay,
This is approved, right?
yes.
Jordan part?
Yes.
Yeah, she's gonna do it? Okay. I'm not done diagnosing it, but I'm glad the process is overlapping. I'm right, it needs a bearing.
Yes.
But yeah, I kind of broke protocol and rushed her a little bit. We're looking at you.
Quit Russian.
Quit Russian. I'm not Russian, I'm German.
Oh.
I'm German, yeah. 35 millimeters of axle nut socket. On clickage. Now we'll hit the threads with a hammer and ruin the axle. That didn't remove. Alright, so we'll work on that later. Next, let's go ahead and figure out how to get these bolts out of the hub. I'm open-ended wrench. Oh, I know. I can use a line wrench. There we go. Now I'll get a big open-ended wrench and go in there and work those out. That's the idea. See, we'll come in here with an extra long box wrench. You're back. You're gone.
I was sneaky.
You can't be sneaky. I am aware of my surroundings at all time, and I know where you are. Got a tracker unit on you. It's in my head. I got a built-in tracking unit. It's the wife monitoring system.
You know where I am at all times.
Well,
You have to.
I
want you to know where I am at all times.
well, yeah. I don't have to know where you are, but
It's safer that way.
it's safer that way. One more to get loose right there. You know, last time we were talking about marital things, some of the folks in the comments were not supportive of our interpretation of gender roles within a marriage. Oh my God. And within parenting.
You know, everyone's different.
They are.
What works for us works for us.
Well,
What works for others works for others, I guess.
and that's fine.
So I think I know what you're trying to say is that when it works for them, they think it works for everybody. And that's when they start to shove it down our throats and say, hey, no, you need to do it this way because that's the right way. When in reality, they're wrong and, oh great, now I'm gonna get
Yeah, now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
No, you're onto something there. It's like hey, it doesn't, if I want to be, let's say I want to go be different than 99% of everybody else, I can go, well, you know, it doesn't work for everybody, it just works for me. But it did work for everybody for the longest amount of time. So changing that just for you and then saying, well, my concept could work for everybody, that's not fair.
You know, I think everyone wants to be that next big change in the world, you know, and they want to be recognized as that big change in the world. Like, hey, guess what I accomplished? I got to get everyone to do this, or I got, you know, the roles now and societal values are just so skewed that we don't even know what we're doing anymore.
So clearly,
yeah, there's no set way of anything. Like, there's no.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Tradition becomes tradition for a reason, and because we have tradition, we're simply repeating what we know works.
You know what? But in 100 years, there's not going to be a tradition anymore. It's just going to be all willy-nilly.
No.
Like every 80 years or something.
There is an 80-year cycle. It usually involves some wars. But yeah, but that's the thing. If you stop honoring the traditions that work, like washing your hands, it's a tradition that everybody does. Well, washing your hands might not work for you, and your life is just fine and you don't wash your hands. Well, that's great. Have fun with dysentery. Because before we figured out collectively to adopt the tradition of washing our hands, we were all dying of dysentery and cholera. Yeah. So the social norms do work. Well, you know, like they actually do work.
Kind of puts me down, like what I want to talk about with like food dyes and stuff like that.
Food dyes. That's for your channel, honey.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you do that on your channel. You guys want to hear about Red 40? Do that on her channel over there.
Okay.
Yeah, more about Red 40 and food coloring and sugar.
Sugar is the biggest leading cancer cause in the world.
That's
a snippet of what I would like to say.
Well, yes it is. The sugars are not great. Not great. So I'm trying to get these bolts out. Okay, let's go to work now. I just lost enough subscribers today, so let's go back to going to work.
But you might have gained 2.
Yeah, I'll gain more than 2 from that. That's what happened when I made a public opinion on the Charlie Kirk assassination. Everybody left in rage. Ray, you're a racist. I didn't know. I can't believe you're a racist bigot. And I'm like, no. One of Charlie Kirk's greatest life achievements is the man spoke out against the convenience slaughtering of unborn children. The man saved lives. There's people walking the earth today because that man opened his mouth. There's nothing racist or bigoted about that. And I know the clip that people are referring to where they had the proof that Charlie Kirk was super racist. Watch the whole clip, not the edited part. You know, kind of like what they did to Trump on that J6 speech. If you go back, yeah, that aged well, didn't it? If you go back and watch the actual, what was actually created, not the edited version, the narrative shifts just a little bit now, doesn't it? It just shifts a little bit. All you got to do is, I don't know, seek the truth instead of just being gullible to believe what you're told. Because nothing is real. You guys know that, right? Nothing's real. I need a hammer now. So this thing's unbolted, but it's rusted into the knuckle, so we have to bang on it with a hammer to try to pop it loose here. This is where it's going to get hard. Decisions. Do I choose the square linear impact driver, or do I choose the rounded linear impact driver? Bearings are round, so let's go with the round one. Yeah, we'll go with this guy. Watch her! Thank you.
I hydrate.
Nourishment. I just spilt it all over myself. I guess I was really thirsty. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this on the flange. Ideally from this angle, but this angle will work. It might break free, no problem. Oh, that's right, we're not in the rust belt. I forgot. Sometimes you can just ask bearings to come out, and they will. Just ask nicely. I may need a slide hammer to actually like pull. Yeah, we're getting behind it. I have an idea. We'll hammer some screwdrivers in there. Make some wedges. Yeah, there's a wedge. Who's that? Yo. Oh, it's Javier. There you are. What you doing? Hey, I'm filming. No talking to me. You're interrupting me. See, I was filming. And you watch this. See, I was filming and you walked in the door and just started talking. Sorry. Just barge in and start talking, you know, like, hey, it's the Javier show. Sorry. I'm kidding, brother. How are you today? It's the Javier show. That's his engine over there, that 6.2 I'm putting together. Yeah. What'd you bring? A supercharger? I did. Sweet. Just throw it on the floor. Well, we got one screwdriver thing in. Let's hammer a couple more wedges in this. And the tapered nature of the drivers will force this thing out of its bore hole, right? That's a good sign. That means it's coming out. Very good. I'm optimistic about the future. You gonna come out or what? Look at this thing. Got a 1/4 inch of space coming out of that. Look at that. Dong, 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 dong. There we go. So I expect, or suspect rather, that the splines on this axle are hanging on to the inside. Now, like we talked about earlier, I could bash this with a hammer, but that's going to mushroom those threads out and ruin the axle. So, see that little hole right there? We're going to insert this air gun hammer in that hole and blurp this axle in a little bit. Yep. The axle's doing it because my screwdrivers are falling out now. There we go. Yeah, see the CV constant velocity joints on those axles, they've got some in and out play so that the joint can extend slightly and it can also compress slightly too. Got one more bolt that did not release all the way. Let me just turn it some with some pliers. It's not working, so we'll turn it with the wrench. Thing's falling right out of there. Okay. Woohoo! And there's the hub assembly. So now, let's try to hear the bearing noise out of this thing. Cannot take the bolts out. So I'm hoping that the new bearing assembly comes with bolts in it. No, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the grind. But that's also, see that? That's also not good. That free spinningness. I usually don't do that. Well, now I'm second guessing myself. That's looser than I thought. But the sound comes from over here. It's got to be this. So stay tuned to the end. Let's see if I'm right or if I'm less than right. Check it out. We've got a new one. 4-wheel drive. It's got the hole in it. Came with an O-ring, which I stuck on there. We saw that old one fall out when we pulled this out. This all looks pretty good. It came with new bolts. That way you don't have to press this out and in and all that. You can get just the bearing part, but in doing so, you've got to press the hub out of it. And since we learned, and I did learn, that there was a previous collision on this corner, I felt it best to replace the hub as well. So I think we're good to install this. It matches up. It's the right one, right shape, right size, all that good stuff. This is right. Let us put our backing plate back upside down where it goes. And of course, our hub assembly. I do not believe that the bolt patterns change on this, so it can probably go in any orientation. Either way, the bolts went in this orientation, so this is the one we're going to go with. And we're just going to get them started by hand, by finger rather. These have Loctite on them already. There was a thread type of a thread locker already there. Okay. So once all 4 bolts have started, which we're not there yet, this bottom left is still getting hung up on the shield. I think we're good now. That's in. Okay, they're all in. So now I tighten these guys down, bottom them out. We'll throw the brakes back on, test drive this unit, and fingers crossed, I'm hoping that that noise goes away. I think I'm right. Okay, returning after skipping ahead in time some. This unit is flush with the knuckle. Let's make some torque. Kick. Come around here to this side. Get on there, please. Pull. There we go. Clickage. Beautiful. Okay. Throw the axle nut on. My gun is set to 220 foot-pounds of torque. It is now torqued. Put a little castle thing on there. Like so. Very good. And I hate reusing cotter pins, but I don't have one that's this size, and this one's fantastic. So I'm going to reuse it. And I realized that it's like some double speak, because I say not to reuse cotter pins and I don't like it. I think it's kind of ugly when it's done. It's a little bit unprofessional-ish, but this circumstance I will allow it, and I will forego my own standard. But just this once. Just this once. You're not going to catch me slipping again. See, that's not that bad, right? As long as you fold the tangs properly per spec, you're good. There. I will live with that. So now, we take the little dust cap thing. That's important because it goes there. Find these types of vehicles without the caps installed all the time because they're hard to take off. But if you don't ruin it, taking it off, you can put it right back on. Voila. So now, take our brake rotor, slap that guy right back where it goes, and then we may hang the caliper back into position. What's up, girlie?
I am heading out.
You're leaving?
I have an appointment with Spectrum.
Oh, good. To drop off the thing? Yeah. That's awfully convenient. You know, it's funny when you sign up for service, they'll come out and drop it off, but when they want their stuff back,
You gotta make an appointment.
you got to make an appointment and go over there. It's almost like they're punishing you for quitting.
Well, at least they don't charge you for returning your equipment.
They got sued for that. It's funny how things change as soon as somebody files a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Well, I will see you at home.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. Anybody out there living in a homeowners association? If your HOA wanted to put up an AI monitored camera at the entrance to your neighborhood that doesn't even have a gate for security reasons, and it tracks your car via your license plate and with photographs every time you come in and out, and then it keeps a tally on what you were doing, and let's say your HOA implemented that, charged you annually for the service, gave you nothing in return except the promise of security, and then told you, no, it's not negotiable, you can't do that, or we're not going to take it away, would you sue them? would you go around your neighborhood? Would you go around your neighborhood and would you go door to door knocking and find everybody who was outraged at it? And would you go find a lawyer and would you sue your association that you know is out of money because they mismanaged the funds and wasted it all like 3 months ago on some nonsense? Would you sue them? I would sue them. I would. Would you? Would you sue somebody for that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think you would. I mean, it seems reasonable because that's.
Well, do you get any? You just.
Well, no. See, there's no damages there, but there's things. I got to put a bolt in. Yeah, so you can sue for monetary damages, or you can sue to compel someone to do or not do. So I'm just saying, it seems like kind of a violation. It's almost like an overreach, almost like.
I'd rather have a gate.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'd rather have a gate.
I like the gate. It looks better too.
I would say. I'm just wondering if, you know, if that's something you guys would do. You know, in the comment section down below. This is an interesting kind of video. I'm not even worried about fixing cars today. We're just bashing everything. What do you guys like those videos when I start bashing random stuff here and there? I hear stories from folks and, you know, people tell me things. I guess I got one of those faces. People tell me things and then I can base an opinion off those things, and that's kind of what we're talking about here. But I think that'd be a good reason for a lawsuit. But I'm just wondering if you guys care for that kind of banter around here on the channel. Is it? I mean, I've always thought of this as like a real life type of situation channel. I'm not here to create a production. I'm not trying to, you know, make an award-winning sitcom here. I'm just talking about real life stuff, and I happen to fix cars while I'm doing it. Applying torque. Fix. Okay, we're in the home stretch for sure. That's our last bolt. Torque achieved. Good. So, finalized check. I need to make sure that the rotor doesn't touch the backing plate. That would be noisy and annoying. But I hear no scrapey noise. That's good. Recover that. Recover this. And let's recover our tire. You like that? One-handed tire installation. See, that's my 170 years of tire technician experience right there. Like that? I thought it was fun. I like that. I like doing that. Big show off. The class clown center of attention. There we go. One of my nuts is on the ground. One's on the ground, I can't find the other one. That's not good. That's not good when one's laying in the dirt and then you're missing the second one. Uh-oh. Where's my nut? Yeah, the socket's a little stuck on there. Okay, let's let it down. I need to torque wrench these and then we'll go out for a ride. Off the lock and coming down. Taco all the way down. Okay, we're on the ground, lift's done. I was just thinking, I'm gonna be so embarrassed if we go out and hit the bridge on this and it's going and it makes the noise. I'm gonna be embarrassed, but you know, I'm going to publish the results anyway because that's reality and I'm here to display a certain reality. My reality. Yeah, let me go wash up. I don't want to put my hand nasties on their steering wheel in there. Okie dokie doo. Let us begin engine starting sequence now. Pump the brake pedal up because I had the caliper off. When the caliper's off, the pistons could retract because I had to wiggle it sideways onto the rotor, and that would have spread the piston, I'm sorry, the pads and the pistons actually. It would have spread the pads away from the rotor some. Well, I want to take up that slack before we start rolling. Because there's nothing like hitting the brakes and then finding out they don't work. Okay, no weird noises, everything's bolted on, torque check on the wheels done, axles in, 4 bolts for the hub are in. I did not tighten down that bracket bolt. Hang on. Parking's the auto. I almost forgot to not remember something. There's a bolt loose on a bracket. Actually, there's 2 bolts. One for the brake line. I am bad at my job. I forgot this little clip. I gotta plug that guy back in. Go on there, clippy clip. There we go. I forgot 2 fasteners. I could feel it coming in the air tonight. That bolt, 13 in it. This is why I go through my head every single part. Every single time. The bad part is when you do that in the middle of the night and you forgot to remember something, drain plugs will get you every time. Oil drain plugs. Because the way it works in technician mind is if you don't have direct memory of doing it, then you didn't do it. There. So, going through the list, torqued, wheels, axle nut tight, bracket bolts both tight, all 4 bolts for the hub are tight and torqued and all that good stuff. Let's try again. Yeah, no, that would not have ruined the day. Chances are if I let that go that way, nobody ever would have known. But it's not a good look. Cannot forget things like that, even little details. It's worth it to a point to, even when your customer's standing there and they're ready to go and they were waiting and you've got to come back in and you got to go, hey man, I forgot something. Sorry, just give me a minute, let me do it right. A lot of guys won't do that. They'll just say, oh, well, the guy's looking at me, so I'm not going to do anything. They're sitting in their car. I'm just going to drive around. This parking lot's getting crazy. Crazy parking lots. Okay. All right, so let's hit the bridge. Get some speed. All right, going up the hill, getting some speed. Engine sounds. Green light, U-turn. Let's get faster speed. The road is smooth on this side. Let's get it going here. Okay, we're cooking now. 60 miles per hour. I don't know. I kind of still feel that vibe in my foot. I hear a little bit. I do hear some grindy noise. Yeah, there's a little bit going. Right here, sweet spot. That's the sweet spot. 40 to 30, I really hear it. Yeah, we're gonna have to go back under the knife. We're gonna need to do the second bearing on this one. The sound did change, but I'm still hearing. So, to answer the question, I guess I was wrong. I incorrectly diagnosed it, or I 50% diagnosed it. This is indicative in the nature of hunting down wheel bearings. I did get there's a tone change out of it a little bit, but I still feel the vibe in my foot, and I can hear what sounds like left side. It sounds more left side to me this time. I realize that's all relative, and it's not fact-based. I've got to be opinionated on where I hear the sound coming from. Yeah, I hear it right now. Definitely more out of the left side. There's a reduction in the sound that I was hearing out of the right side. That thing was making some noise, but I hear some out of left side too. So we're going to end up having to do 2 bearings on this. That's what I prepared everybody for, and that's what we discussed. But still, I don't like going back a second time, but I also didn't want to oversell the job. So we're going to go order another bearing. I'll slap that second one in there, and we'll test drive it one more time. Not going to happen on this video. It is past my 4 o'clock cutoff time, so I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. Let me know what you think about this diagnostic thought process. in the comment section down below. What do you think about this vehicle, this components design, and my tactics on diagnosing and repairing and such things? I always appreciate your feedback in my comment section, and I also appreciate the like buttons that you guys leave after you leave your comments, because those two things are the things that YouTube looks for the most, to see that if you enjoyed this this type of content, and that's how YouTube determines whether or not it wants to send my content to other potential viewers, and that's good for me. So if you guys don't mind, engage that like button before you guys head out. Leave me a comment or two on your way out of the door, and most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later. Thanks for watching in a video, in a day, end of taco bearing diag in a transmission.